Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to break down the trailer for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3. Very surprising, honestly. I will just say the fact that this actually came out because I just wasn't expecting it. I really wasn't expecting a teaser trailer or anything like that. But no, we actually got one last night. It aired during the premiere of Dead City Season 2. And it makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. I'm like, the show is literally premiering in like, what, 5 months from now or something like that. Yeah, we saw one teaser trailer from it last year. It makes sense that they're going to start to promote it a little bit here, right? Like at Comic-Con, we're going to get the trailer for season 3. It's going to be really exciting. And then obviously the release date and all of that, any sort of other announcements and all of that. And that's 2 months away from now. So yeah, like honestly, that's the one thing that I will say. I know people have been complaining about The Walking Dead and like there hasn't been a lot of stuff to talk about. For the rest of this year, though, it's going to be honestly really incredible. Like we have Dead City right now and it's awesome. And it's going into like the end of June or something, June 22nd. And then we have Comic-Con the next month. And then this show, I think, is likely going to be out in October, which is like 3 months away at that point. And there's going to be a lot of promotion and all that in between. And obviously that will take us until like what? The end of November or something like that. So right now, it definitely very much feels like classic Walking Dead days. Like for the rest of the year, we're going to have Walking Dead content basically until the holidays. So I think that right now it's going to be awesome for the rest of this year. I think 2025 is going to be a really amazing year for The Walking Dead. This trailer looks absolutely incredible. And I'm excited to see what they have for 2026. I think that, it makes sense. Dead City Season 3 and Daryl Dixon Season 4. A lot of that makes sense to me, but there's been a lot of talk about other spinoffs and all that. So I do wonder what's going to be happening here at Comic-Con and all of that. But anyways, I want to break down this trailer here. So before going further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. I have a lot of videos planned for Dead City Season 2's premiere. I do want to talk about Lucille 2.0, get into some of the stuff with the New Babylon Federation, and a few things like that. So just stay tuned for that. I've been so busy because last night, it's one of those things that's kind of unfortunate right now because literally the playoffs are happening right now, like for hockey. And so I've been watching a lot of that. And so the last like couple of nights, there's been a couple of game 7s. And so like last night, I wasn't able to watch The Last of Us because it premiered at like 9 p.m. Eastern, right? And so I'm like, well, hockey's on right now. I do want to watch that. And then the night before there was a game. And so that's why I haven't gotten around to The Last of Us yet, but I am going to get around to that. This trailer honestly was absolutely incredible. We actually see Daryl here and he's in a desert and it looks like it's just him trying to survive. So this is very cool. I will say it's kind of hilarious because this actually reminds me of what Andrew Lincoln was talking about a couple of years ago. Actually, this is a while ago now, but he was talking about how he sees the future of Rick Grimes' story ending. It was Rick Grimes walking around alone and he was in a desert and he was trying to survive. And then a bunch of walkers were behind him. And it was one of those things where like, it was just, like he's having a hard time kind of thing. And the walkers are getting closer and closer. I don't remember the exact story that he told, but it was basically like this. And then eventually, I guess it was revealed that he was the cure because the walkers just walk past him. And so it's like, okay, he's the cure, right? So I don't think that's what we're getting here, obviously, but that was the first thing that came to mind here when I saw Daryl in the desert here, because it just kind of seems related. We haven't really seen, any of the Walking Dead characters anyways, like in a desert like this from what I remember anyways. So very cool. I think that this season's going to be really incredible because they've been talking about a lot of things for like, just what is going to happen this season. There was actually a producer, an executive producer, I believe, who talked about a train sequence that's going to be happening. And apparently it's a really, really exciting scene, like one of the best scenes that's happened in a while. So I think that you can imagine how that's going to go, right? Like they're going to be on a horse or something like that. Or maybe it's a motorcycle and maybe they're jumping off onto the train or they're jumping from the train onto the motorcycle, or I don't know what's going to be happening, but it's probably going to be very much like that. I think that it's going to be a really cool scene. A lot of what we see in the trailer here actually does get into some stuff kind of related to it. So yeah, very cool here. But we do see this one shot here, I believe, of London, or maybe this is France. I'm not sure where this is. This looks very similar to, I guess, what we saw in the season 2 finale, or a lot of, I guess what we were seeing in season 2. But I'm not sure if this is London or France, so maybe you guys can let me know. But it looks like Daryl and Carol and a new character here played by Stephen Merchant is actually like they're on a boat here and they're traveling, I believe, to London is where they're going. So that's why I'm like, well, I guess it doesn't really matter where they're going here. Like that's the thing. So this is going to be from episode 1. It looks like they are going to London, but something is going to happen here where they end up in Spain, obviously, right? So something's going to happen. Maybe this character here is not completely trustworthy, and so maybe they're led to a different group, and something else happens there, but eventually they're probably going to end up in Spain. I imagine it's going to be very similar to, the season 1 premiere where Daryl was just on a boat and ended up on the shores of France, right? So I think it'll be very similar in that way where they just kind of end up in Spain, right? And so it is interesting, though, I will say, because I do wonder if Daryl and Carol get separated there and then eventually kind of find each other at some point, though I don't think so, because a lot of the scenes that we saw of them filming early on, they're both together in that new community, so it's probably not going to go like that. But yeah, just really cool scene here. But we do see Daryl on a bike, and so very cool to see because he hasn't had a bike in a while. Actually, that's not true at all. I think in the season 2 finale or those last couple of episodes, he had a bike, right? So, I mean, just cool, I think, that he seems to always find a bike, and I think what's happening here is actually really incredible. So the previous teaser that we got, we did see Daryl actually on a bike, but it looks like he's actually chasing down somebody here, so this is going to be related to the story somehow. Maybe it's something that is happening with a different community, and so he's helping out the community that he's currently with, and he has to, chase this person down or whatever. I'm not sure what's happening, but it's going to be a really cool scene because, I mean, actually, when you're really looking at it here, I thought that Daryl was maybe chasing him, but like maybe that's what happens here originally, but it looks like whoever's on the bike is actually going towards him here. So yeah, I don't know who's going to win this here, but obviously we see both the characters here. I mean, I imagine it's going to be Daryl winning. Like, I don't see him dying here, right? Like, that'd be crazy, but it's just these action scenes, like, getting stuff like this here this season, like, that's why, honestly, a lot of my complaints about The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2 were just like, I'm not gonna really complain about it too much, because it really was like seeing the new environment and seeing what the story was going to be like for season 3 was just very exciting. And like getting a lot of this here, like, this really reminds me of Red Dead Redemption. Like, that story and the tone of that game, like, it just really feels like this show here. So I don't know if that's what they were going for kind of here, but it really does feel like it. So I think that's what's going to be kind of exciting about this season here. And I think that's why a lot of people are probably going to end up watching season 3, because as much as, the season 2 storyline was disappointing, I think that what they can do here for season 3 is just the tone of it in general is just very cool, so I think a lot of people are going to watch. I see that reaction everywhere. Like, everyone's reaction to seeing this, like, their first response was just like, wow, like, whoa, what is this? So I think that, that's a really good thing for the show. So I'm excited. I really can't wait for this. And this is going to be premiering in the fall. And yeah, just a lot more Walking Dead stuff to look forward to for this year, right? Like, 2025 is going to be such an awesome year for The Walking Dead. But let's get to the next shot here. And we do see Daryl, and I believe that could be Carol behind him over there. I'm not sure. I think at this point here, they're probably like, are we ever going to make it back home kind of thing. Daryl does seem to be very, upset, or he's thinking about something here. Like, a shot like this, I imagine the scene is beginning like this. So we see Daryl here, he's thinking about something, and then Carol says something, and then he turns around, and then it's just like, he's not going to talk about, I guess what he's thinking about, right? And I mean, at this point here, they can't get back to America, right? So what do they do? And I'm interested in that storyline because, like, obviously they're not going to keep traveling forever. And I think that's going to be one of the things where I really do wonder if it feels like, okay, we're stuck, like, we're not going to be able to get back. But then we get this last shot here, and it says The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, and obviously very different colors here, right, than The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 1 and 2. So totally different tone that they're going for here, and I'm excited. I really, like, I think that this season might be my favorite season out of the entire show. Like, I really like the France storyline, but to me, what was really exciting about it was some of the Variant Walker stuff, and like, they just didn't really get into that a lot in season 2. I really like season 1. Like, season 1 is a really incredible season, but I just kind of prefer the whole Red Dead Redemption storyline. I feel like going with that type of storyline, I feel like for the show is just going to be really cool to watch. Like, I think that that's something they're likely focusing on a lot more here, is just like, let's make the story fun. Let's make it really cool, right? Like, we have Negan with Lucille again. Like, that's just, awesome, right? So to have Daryl on a bike and like in a desert trying to survive, and it's just really awesome. So I'm excited. The release date here actually does say fall. Well, actually, it does say coming this fall. So I imagine that it's not going to be September. Like, I do think that it's a possibility, obviously, but because of the fact that The Walking Dead Dead City, I think, premiered a little bit later this year, I think the show is going to be premiering most likely in October, because The Walking Dead in September, I think, is fine. But honestly, like, The Walking Dead needs to be a Halloween show. It really does. Airing in October is just like, it's perfect. So I do think that we're likely going to get an October release date. It might be early October like it used to be, or, you know, The Walking Dead used to be sometimes in like later October. I don't know. I think October is most likely going to be the release day here for this show. So yeah, I'm excited for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 3. I didn't think I'd be talking about that right now. I thought I'd be talking about the show more around Comic-Con, but I mean, I guess, yeah, the talk for this show is going to start here right away, right? Like, they're going to start promoting it and everything here. So yeah, I'm excited. I really can't wait to see a lot more from the show. So definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.